Welcome to another day at Kurtzky's Garage / Driveway, the Fall Colors Edition. Yes, it's coming towards the end of October. Halloween is in a few days. So what we are doing, we're not doing stereo, we're doing stereo work. See what I did there? So I've done a lot of work on the stereo, and I've had some success, and I've had some not so success. We've got a second power antenna mast coming today. I hope it's not the same inexpensive one I bought from Amazon. Nothing against Amazon, it just simply did not work in this application. The toothed nylon belt that pulls and pushes the antenna up, it simply broke after probably a dozen uses. You get what you pay for. So I've got a slightly better one coming from Parts Avatar in Canada. It should be here today, so we're going to work on that. And also, I've been working at tracking down the intermittent power problems with the stereo. I thought I had it with a common ground that's located basically under where the power, or not power, but the electrically heated front seat switchers are. And you get to that by removing the ashtray. That whole thing comes up, and then loosen up the veneer around the center console shifter, and you can get to this thing. And you know, it has about four brown wires coming together, 4 sets, and it's screwed into a mounting spot that looks like it's the actual sheet metal around the transmission tunnel. So I was messing with that, and the stereo did turn on. And I loosened the bolts off, and the stereo turned off, and I thought, oh, I got it. So I tightened it back up, and the next day it didn't work, the stereo. So I went back at it, and I looked for corrosion. 0 signs of corrosion. So I thought, well, it's the external amplifiers. This car has what was called the premium sound system, a so-called 10-speaker sound system, 2 in the dash, 2 in the front doors. That's 4. The remaining 6 speakers I comprised of 2 3-way speakers on the rear parcel shelf. The rear amplifiers are located behind the rear seat back, so you have to take the cushion out and the seat back off. Now that's not that difficult. But what got me thinking that I really need to investigate this, other than process of elimination, when the car was at my mechanic's, they had to lower part of the rear suspension to change the passenger side hub. Remember, we had to have a wheel bearing put in there. And guess what? The access spot to loosen off the shock, which would have to have been done to drop the rear suspension, the amplifier sits on the cover, the access cover for that. So we're going to have a look. Maybe something was just not plugged, you know, the amp wasn't plugged in quite right, or we've got a weak ground, or there's some corrosion. But I'm going to check both left and right amps, and we're going to take the seats out, and you'll see how that's done. And I do believe that new power antenna mast is coming. So again, we'll take the Hirschmann power antenna out, and we will swap out the broken mast, and I did try to rejuvenate the original one. It's too far gone. We're going to give it a shot again and see if we get something a little bit better. And then later this week, we've got some parts coming from the dealer, and quite frankly, their prices were about the same as Pelican parts in the US. Once you pay the shipping and, you know, the landed cost, it's about the same. So we've got a relay for the rear defroster. I replaced the switch. I replaced a fuse, and doing some troubleshooting. It's the multifunction relay that powers the defroster. It powers the turn signals. I think it does one other thing, but they do fail. So we're going to replace that. It's not too bad. And do we have anything else? I did order new underhood foam. I know it's not the most pressing thing, but what's there is degrading, and I don't really want it to degrade as I'm using the car. So that's what we've got going on. Let's get into that rear seat, and we'll see you in a bit. Okay, so not too difficult. Let me show you a few things here. On the seat cushion, you can see these red levers. You just simply move them out, and that releases them from a fastener in the sheet metal. That comes out, that's like 20 seconds. The seat back, you've got screws in the corner. Let me just turn this around. Hopefully you can see what I'm pointing to. A screw there on each side, and in the center you've got a fastener there. Then the seat back simply lifts out and we can examine the amplifiers. Let me show you those. So there's two, one on each side, and there it is. We've got a ground connector, we've got a connector, main connector here, and behind that is the access cover to the rear suspension. Let's check the other side. While that seat cushion is out, I'm going to finish doing the cleaning and application of some leather cleaner. So let's get under here. Yeah, there's the other stereo amplifier. See, that's what I'm concerned about. It's snug in there, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Wow, that's really snug. I'm gonna get in there with a little bit of sandpaper, clean some contacts, but I'm curious to know if just fiddling with this will get the stereo going. So let's check. Okay, so we'll hop in. We'll just get it to the first position. And no, we're dead. This may come on in a few minutes for no apparent reason. The common ground that I mentioned is just under here. It's about 4 bolts put together, or four eyelets, 2 wires per eyelet. You've got a bolt going through there. This one is driving me, admittedly, a little nuts. I'm going to do some more work on the amps, test some connections, and we'll see what we come back with. Hold tight. Okay, I think we've got the root cause of this thing. It's one of the amplifiers. I thought I had a left front door speaker that wasn't working. No, it was, or I'm sorry, right door speaker that wasn't working. No, it's the entire right channel, passenger side. There's the amp. Good old part number 126-820, 1889. So I will go shopping for one of these, see what it costs. Or the alternative, I look at putting something else in. It's not an overly powerfully amp. It's, oh my goodness, it's not an overly powerful amplifier. So, and let's face it, I've destroyed my hearing enough with loud music. I just want something I can listen to, you know, podcasts, ebooks, some radio. I'm not blasting stuff anymore. I got to preserve what little hearing I have left. But that's it. I swapped them driver's side to passenger side, and this is the problem. So I'm going to take this out of the car, and I suspect the malfunctioning amp was probably stopping the stereo from triggering on altogether. So this may be an improvement, just getting rid of this thing. At any rate, that's it. Oh, before I go, one more thing I wanted to show you. We're just going to show you that common ground underneath the front console. Bear with me a sec here. I'll get this turned around. Right there, that bolt, that was allowing me to trigger one of the amplifiers. I'm just playing around with that. I'm going to tighten that up and get everything buttoned up back here. This is not the problem. It's the actual amplifier itself. Well, we've got more things figured out at Kurtzky's garage, and nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to wrap up things here, get stuff back together. I'm going to take out the power antenna because we're supposed to have a new mast coming today, and I want to show you how that is removed. So, well, it's not a fix, but we're on the right track at least. Thanks so much. Bye for now. Hey, welcome to Kurtzky's Kitchen. Or it's going to be basically the Hirschmann power antenna workshop session. So to get this open, pretty straightforward, slot screwdriver in here, and just very carefully work the cover open. There you go. Get your fingers in there. Won't bite. Just work it open. Don't damage the case because you will need to close her back up the same way, pushing them in. Okay, so now you can see basic mechanism. Let me get this up here. So we've got a motor that's turning via this little pulley, a worm gear, driving the main gears. There's two gears, and there's a spring between them. I guess it's designed to take a little bit of the torque. And when these gears turn, let's see if I can do this. There we go. That will extend the nylon piece, the toothed nylon insert, and it will raise the antenna. Now this one in here is a little bit jammed, so I'm not going to attempt to do that and kind of make things worse. I am going to take these out, and I need to take that C-clip out. I don't know if I can do that with a regular screwdriver, or if I need to get my pick. Pick would make life a little bit easier, but we'll see. No, probably going to need the pick. I'll be back in a second. Okay, I just removed the C-clip, so we can take this clip out, and now we can take the gears out. Now, you'll see when I take, I also brought this little separating tool here. Yeah, this got jammed up quite badly, so I'm not surprised there was a failure. That's the tension spring between the two gears. And we'll take that gear out. Do make sure you keep all the spare parts handy. Just putting them in that that cover. That's a good spot for them. Now, you just simply, yeah, there we go. There's everything. So now we can just extract the antenna mechanism. Okay. She just broke entirely. Okay, so that's fine. Out it comes. There. That screws in. Okay, and there we have it. So while this particular antenna operates very easily, much more so than the stock antenna, which had some corrosion in it, this toothed nylon piece, it just broke clean out. So unfortunately, that is more or less garbage. And that's it. So we wait for the replacement part from Parts Avatar. And when that comes in, we'll do the installation for you. Welcome back to Kurtzky's Kitchen. Hirschmann Antenna Edition, Part 2, 2034. I'm not sure where we are with this. Any rate, I got a proper antenna from Parts Avatar. This is the URO part. This feels different than the part I got from Amazon, so I think it's the right thing. The antenna feels beefier. There's far less play in it. Just a great part. So what I've done, you can see the toothed nylon belt. I've put some lithium grease on it. I think it's just a good way to start things off, getting it done right. And we're simply going to extend the antenna. I hope you could see this. There we go. So we're just going to extend it like so. Okay. And there we go. So already a little bit more manageable. Now the tricky part is feeding the antenna through the first barrel. Okay. Well, oh, this part. Okay, so we've unscrewed the first barrel. You can see what I'm doing here? Sure you can. And we start feeding the antenna through. So there we go. And it will come through. Yep, there we go. Coming through nicely into the housing. And we're just going to, yeah, this is where it always kind of gets fun, trying to reload this particular part in, but that's fine, just work through it. Nice and easy, no rush. Oh, I think I know what I did wrong already. You have to redo this. Okay. You have to get the external part of this assembly on first. There. This is what the antenna actually bolts into. The part that I'm feeding on now is what screws into the power winder mechanism. Okay. There we go. Now there's a little washer here. Probably fell off in the case. Somewhere. Or it's... Where the heck did that go? Okay, that's that. Oh, no, there it is. Okay, good. I'm going to put a little extra light on. Oh, what a difference. Okay. So there's a little rubber ring. You can see that. That is what seats. No, I think I got to put it on this side of the antenna. There. Okay. And now we can screw it. Well, are we through? Yep, we're good. Okay. Good, good, good. But I do have to get the antenna spline, nylon spline, turned the right way. Okay. Just giving you an idea what I'm doing here. This inner pathway that the antenna travels through, that sits in here. This gets screwed over it. It's threaded and it threads into the top of the case. Like so, like so, like so. Keep turning. That's good. Just like so. That's fine. Don't rush it. Now, we have to take the antenna and feed it in. You can see underneath here. This is where the residual amount of the coil will actually sort of take up and get stored. And it stores in that space in the bottom ring. So that goes in. This is the piece, the shaft, if you will, that holds everything together. Do apply pressure on that. Okay. As you can see, I fed some of that tooth spline into the housing, so we're all set to go. This is the bottom gear. This is what engages with the antenna itself. It does not engage with the worm gear on the motor. This gear engages with the worm gear on the motor. Make sure you line up this section of spring with that key on the gear, the lower gear. Okay, you're almost home free. Now, we're going to, oops, upside down, put that little clip in place, and you should have just enough space to put the C-clip, the retaining clip in. You know, work it with a slot screwdriver or whatever you're comfortable with. And it can be a little challenge to get, that's okay. Just go slow. Don't take any skin off your fingers in the process. Almost had it. It's just a conventional C-clamp. Go to a different tool if you need. Remember, keep the tool under control so you don't end up driving it into your fingers. Take your glasses off if need be. There should be just enough space there. No, I might have something just a little bit off. And I think I do, actually. I think that washer is sitting on the wrong side of everything. So that's okay. We're at a point where we could take this bottom gear off if need be. Yeah, I think this one goes here. Okay. Try again. That's probably better. Yep, that gives me the space I need. I just had the washer on the wrong side of the bottom take-up spool. And there we go. So that's in place. When you are reassembling this thing, there are some rubber grommets. One goes here. Another one goes here. Oh, get in there, you. Okay. That spot does not take a rubber grommet. It goes. Actually, it does. The rubber grommet just sits a little bit better in the case. Okay. Do try and get that positioned relatively carefully. And now, because this is a worm gear, you can't move this gear with your fingers. We're just going to simply drive it this way, and I can already see the top of the antenna move. I got to put my glasses back on for this. Okay, so we're driving this in a counterclockwise movement. This is emulating the motor actually taking up, or taking up the slack and lowering the antenna. And the antenna is moving very nice. And if you'd like at this point in time, since everything seems to be progressing well, this is the bolt, the cosmetic part that you actually see protruding from the fender. There, just put this in here and turn it. You can tighten it after if you wish. I forget the size of wrench offhand. But finger tight for now is just fine. There, okay. So, this is going to take some time, but here we go. May speed this up a little bit on the video. Thank goodness we've got electric motors to do this work. We don't have to do this nonsense. Just beware too, there are some electric wires. Just make sure they don't get pinched. Okay, you can still see this antenna retracting. Looks like we've got the second stage coming into the third stage at this point, and we'll probably pull the first stage, the top stage, down next, I would think. We'll see what happens. Yep, that's what's happening. And yes, this is kind of laborious work, but once it's going, I think this part will actually last, so I don't mind. There's been a lot of buggering around with cheap parts and then trying to recondition the original antenna mast, and nah, I'm just going to throw them out. There's no point in keeping them. Okay, and the topmost section of the mast is almost fully retracted. And then we're going to go for the last section of the mast. And there we go. It's retracting. Nice. Okay, we're down to just the last few inches. Okay. Okay, about 1.5 inches to go. Okay, and it is, okay, there. Now, you can certainly feel it get a little bit more tension. Don't over tighten it, just to the point where it doesn't want to turn freely. So that's basically it. You just have 3 rubber isolators, 1, 2, and 3. And then the case very easily snaps together. That's it. Okay, you've seen me install this in the car previously, so I'm not going to take you through that. But providing everything works, and I have no reason to believe it won't, I will demonstrate it working just for the sake of posterity. We have a couple of other parts coming in today, which is great. I had to get a new oil dipstick because the previous dipstick, the actual finger, you know, where you'd pull it up from, the finger hole, whatever you want to call it, was broken off. That's the one on the car. So I ordered second-hand part dipstick that's the proper red color. You can get them new if they're yellow. I just wanted to keep it as looking as original as possible. It had a small crack in it, so I filled that in with some JB Weld for plastic, and that's currently drying. And the last thing I got today was a replacement stereo amplifier, so we will see if that works. I really don't have a way to bench test it, but the part itself does come with a 90-day warranty, so fingers crossed that that part is in good shape. Again, we had the back seat apart a couple of days ago. I'm not going to show you that, but if it does work, we'll give you a little audio demonstration of the Mercedes premium sound from 1990, featuring the Becker 1480, 2 external amplifiers, and what they call a 10-way speaker array. It's 2 speakers in the dash, 2 speakers in the front door, you know, left and right-hand side, driver, passenger. And the rear speakers, we would call them 3-ways. So that gives, in theory, 10 speakers each. Each car. 5 each side. So there we go. I will be very pleased to have this particular repair behind me. It's not the first time I've tangled with a Hirschmann antenna, probably not the last time. They're not overly complicated, but you do need a decent replacement antenna if you're going to make these things work. So there we are. I will update you in what will be, you know, the next frame, but in reality it's probably going to be an hour and a half of messing around with everything. But good stuff expected. Thanks for hanging in with me, and we'll be back at you very shortly.